Present day. Present time.
Earthlings, I'm here now with a band that Tom Delonge is cheating on me with. Please welcome Angels and Airwaves, Tom Delonge, Matt Walker, David Kennedy, and Ilan Rubin. Thank you guys for being here.
Hey, what's happening?
In the interest of full disclosure, Tom and I actually play together in the band Blink-182, so this interview with this other band won't be awkward at all. Will it?
El extraño caso de Tom Delonge. Si tu adolescencia fue en los años 90, es muy posible que hayas conocido una banda californiana de pop-punk, conformada por Mark Travis y Tom. Son considerados como pioneros del pop-punk con un éxito masivo internacional a finales de los 90 y principios de los 2000. Gran parte de sus canciones eran colocadas en grandes medios de difusión, como la televisión y la radio. Pero no todo en la vida es estar en la cima. Cuando alcanzó su punto más alto, inició su caída. El 21 de febrero del 2005, la banda anunció que no se presentaría en un evento importante, por cuestiones personales, y además se darían un descanso. Por su parte, Tom al poco tiempo dio su propia versión de la ruptura de la banda, y reveló que todo se inició con su proyecto Boxcar Racer.
So here we are at the tail end of Blink, and we're sitting in Europe, and there's like the biggest shows I've ever played in my life, pretty much. I mean, we're having like 17,000 some people in lights screaming and chanting and breaking the walls down, Blink, Blink, you know. And we're backstage like crying and screaming at each other, all about, 12 years of bullshit kind of leading up and all coming out those like few nights. And we think we kind of patched it up, We went through everything. I mean, for days and days we would argue and just get it all out and, I'm not starting a solo record, or Boxcar wasn't meant to do that, or all I want to do is Blink, but I need to be with my family and all these things. And it was all out. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to go home. I'm going to take 6 months.
A partir del 2005 comenzaron a tener muchos problemas, separaciones y dificultades para poder culminar un proyecto. En este tiempo varios medios comenzaron a dar información personal sobre sus integrantes, accidentes, problemas con analgésicos o situaciones de violencia. Sin embargo, todo giró cuando dieron a resaltar un aspecto que todo el mundo desconocía del autor más importante de la banda. Se decía que Tom Delonge es un gran creyente de extraterrestres, ovnis y teorías de conspiración. Desde su juventud y mucho antes de fundar la banda junto a sus amigos. Ellos llegaron a mencionar en una entrevista que él estaba increíblemente apasionado por el tema y que si tuviera la oportunidad buscaría fuera de la ventana del autobús de la gira para dar sentido a las teorías que tras escenarios les compartía. Muchas de las entrevistas y noticias del 2005 y 2009 sobre la banda se puede encontrar que Tom era constantemente atacado por su tendencia al tema y atribuían que esta situación fuera la real razón de su separación. E inclusive llegaron a mencionar que tal vez estaba en medio de algún tipo de colapso mental grave.
Like on his phone or whatever, and it's like two cops holding a styrofoam cooler with Bigfoot, like a Bigfoot costume in it.
For lying. They got fired.
It's just like I don't know. It's pretty fun.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Tom told me where Atlantis was precisely.
Yeah.
Really?
I
did find that out last
42 feet
week.
down
No,
from Rancho
it's
Santa Fe.
72 miles northeast of the island of Sicily.
If you guys ever have 3 or 4 hours to spare, just Tom will tell you all about everything that you need to know, for real.
Mark en 2007 dijo, no estamos sugiriendo que Delonge pueda estar mentalmente enfermo debido a su larga creencia en formas de vida extraterrestres, y no estamos sugiriendo que sea potencialmente inestable simplemente porque tiene algunas teorías de conspiración. Sugerimos que podría necesitar asistencia médica debido a la entrega confusa, paranoica en la que habla sobre tales cosas. A veces Tom habla sobre sus investigaciones personales de una manera entregada y de manera sensata. ¿Qué fue lo que pasó a Tom en ese tiempo? Por si no lo sabes, él es el creador de una gran parte de las canciones de la banda Blink-182. Su talento es inmesurable si se compara con otras bandas. Un suceso cambió totalmente la vida de Tom en esos años, y hasta este momento poco se sabe del mismo.
Can I go back? Can I just go back about halfway through that answer and say, so then I started dealing with the U.S. government. Wow. How did that start?
And how did you get anyone to take your call?
What was the first time?
Yeah, I did crank calls at first.
Yeah.
Crank calls.
Sure.
You just
Tom.
call up, say you're a general, and they'll talk to you.
Because I mean, they hear from a lot of citizens who have questions, but usually they just don't talk to them. They just ignore them. Somehow you were able to not only get people on the phone, but get people on the record and start really getting stuff out to the public that had never been available for. And is that just due to your sheer tenacity?
It really kind of was. I basically, the very beginning of it, I was playing a lot of very important people off each other. It was really kind of funny. I was just making things up. I was like, hey, I'm talking to so-and-so, and I go to that guy, I'm like, hey, I'm talking to so-and-so.
Tras muchos años, Tom fue catalogado por su banda como loco. Varias veces se veía incomodidad de Tom cuando se burlaban de él. Quizá no es de tu conocimiento que Tom actualmente vendió sus derechos por todo el catálogo de Blink-182 a una compañía de inversión musical, con el fin de entregarse al 100% a su empresa Academy to the Stars.
The last show I played was in front of 100,000 people. And then they wonder why I'm not doing that now. And I'll say, because this is the one moment in my life where I'm going to be able to look back as an old man and say, oh my God, I was a part of the team that changed the world.
My name is Tom DeLonge. A lot of people know me from my band Blink-182. I started that band when I was 16. As an artist, I kind of conquered, in some respect, what I wanted to do with music. You know, I couldn't believe where I got, you know, and I was like, okay, well, this is a great time to try and do something else.
Una empresa que tiene varios enfoques, pero entre estos se encuentra la evidencia OVNI. Y hasta hace poco se revelaron algunos videos del contacto OVNI. En todos, un organismo gubernamental de Estados Unidos afirmó que eran ciertos.
Why did Tom leave the band?
I think people just grow apart.
Tom's been on this show.
Yeah.
He's a UFO freak.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't really speak for him except that, you know, people grow apart, and when they do, you know, it's no longer healthy, just like any relationship. No, we actually, our friend Matt Skiba, who plays in Alkaline Trio, filled in for Tom because he quit like 2 weeks before a show that we had planned in the top of this year, and our friend Matt Skiba filled in and just did such a great job. He killed it, and we've been actually in the studio writing with him, and it's been amazing.
No hay que dejar de un lado la idea de que Tom tuvo problemas de analgésicos que nublaron su juicio en algún momento de su vida. Hoy en día tenemos un Tom radicalmente distinto al de los años 90, y surgen varias preguntas sobre él. ¿Será él un genio incomprendido a punto de alcanzar otro descubrimiento? ¿O será cierto que tras tantos colapsos mentales, Tom ya no volverá a ser el mismo y solo ha nutrido ideas dementes por años?
When you started talking about, you know, unidentified flying objects and this, and people are very curious, people want to believe, but just in this past 2 weeks, you're in the news, man.
Oh, am I? Now, am I now?
All those people. I love that, man.
Well, you know...
Congratulations, by the way, if people don't know. Explain.
Okay, well, if you go back a little ways, first time I left Blink was... we weren't really getting along. We had creative differences, and I really just wanted to do something kind of, honestly, I wanted to do something more spiritual, you know? And but I had to grow really thick skin at the time because no one understood why I did that. I'm not the guy that goes out on Twitter and says, this is how I feel, and I want you all to understand me, you know? So people really kind of had a lot of hate, and they were angry, and I understand. It might have been their favorite band or whatever. I might have looked like I was, you know, full of ego to be like, fuck you. It wasn't like that, you know? But by the time To the Stars became To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, where we bring on all these people from the government, from CIA and Department of Defense and the Office of the Secretary of Defense and all these other people, White House, they all come together. We do this thing. I was very aware. I was like, when we do this stuff, maybe their resumes will help people not be so vicious on something that's so controversial. And I also remember, like, well, you know what? That's kind of what my role is. I will stand out in the front and take all the arrows for these guys because they're making sacrifices that are frankly, well, we can't get into, but just they're making some big sacrifices to do what they're doing.
They used to work for the government, and you know, like CIA.
But you're dealing with something that's extraordinarily classified, you know. So to bring it out is a big deal. So in any case, I put myself out there, and I was already kind of prepared for people, you know, throwing rocks and not understanding it and sounding crazy, you know. But I knew what was going on. I've been in multiple briefings about this.
¿Tú qué opinas? Puedes dejarnos tu comentario en la sección. Si el video te gustó, no dejes de darnos tu pulgar arriba y escríbenos si quieres que investiguemos de algún tema en particular. Hasta la próxima.